I think we're in uncharted waters here. The Fed governor in question, Lisa Cook, has indicated that she intends to sue. The Supreme Court ruled this summer on the ability of the president to fire various agency heads, and specifically seemed to carve out saying that the Fed was a different kind of agency and that they were not going to look kindly on attempts to fire Fed Board of Governors members. But it's anyone's guess how this is going to play out. I think what we are certain of is that we're seeing a fairly unprecedented attempt to influence the Fed, and not just influence the Fed, but really make members of the Board of Governors afraid that they're going to face criminal prosecution in addition to losing their jobs if they don't toe Trump's line. And I think that's pretty worrisome.
So we've got the lawsuit that will go in place today. This is going to take some time, knowing that she's not actually been charged with anything. There's a criminal investigation underway, having been referred by the administration. So she says she will continue to carry out her duties in the meantime. To what extent will the market have patience for this? I'm kind of amazed at the lack of reaction today. Investors don't care?
I'm also amazed by the lack of reaction, and I'm a little bit worried that investors are getting complacent about some of these really frightening moves by the president, and that some might even be thinking, well, maybe rate cuts are on the horizon, and so that's good.
Right,
We've seen month after month of investors expecting rate cuts to be right around the corner, not reacting hugely when they haven't arrived. But, I think that investors might be really underrating the effect that this can have on future, not just inflation, but also interest rates and the ability of the Fed to actually control inflation and interest rates. If you want cheap money, you can't be in a position where globally investors are concerned that this is not a place that they want to lend money anymore.
We heard this morning from Lael Brainerd, who's on Bloomberg Surveillance, talking about this move and Fed independence on a greater scale. Listen to what she said.
This is not about an individual governor. This is really an unprecedented attack on the independence of the Federal Reserve as an institution. There is nobody in the Federal Open Markets Committee, the Monetary Policy Setting Committee, that can't be thinking, well, what does this mean for me?
Almost exactly what you just said. The idea then being that if he does follow through on this, if President Trump gets Lisa Cook fired, he gets a majority, and then the rate cuts begin. Is that how the market might be viewing this? Is that how he's viewing this?
I think that's how President Trump is viewing this. I'm not sure that he's going to get what he bargained for. And as I was saying, undermining trust in the Fed creates problems for his interest rate agenda, even separate from whether he has a majority. This is also of a piece with other things that the Trump administration has been doing and that President Trump has been doing on attacking and silencing critics, but also career civil servants. The firing of the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics after a bad jobs day sort of kicked off this latest round. But across the board, we're seeing Trump put perception of what the economy is doing over actually supporting a strong economy that will deliver for American workers and investors. And I think that that is going to start causing real problems.
It's interesting today, in his opening remarks at the start of this cabinet meeting, he was trumping how strong the job market is, which would not be an environment calling for interest rate cuts, right? Can you have both?
That is one of the unusual things about his approach. He is job-owning the Fed and now, threatening criminal prosecution, trying to pull down interest rates while also claiming that the job market is stronger than ever. That is not going to lead the Fed board to think that they need to move quickly to cut interest rates, especially when inflation remains elevated well above target, and there's a lot of uncertainty about the direction of inflation, given that it's ticking up, and the Trump tariff policies are really causing a lot of turmoil in the markets for goods.
We're going to go back to this White House event in a moment, so I'll apologize in advance once the principals start speaking and the reporters get involved here. But what do you make of the reaction in the curve, the idea that longer-term interest rates actually go up in this scenario because people worry about a longer-term inflationary trend?
I think that's a real risk. And in fact, by undermining people's sense of the Fed's independence, you can have a sort of self-reinforcing cycle there of inflation expectations go up and concern that the Fed won't move to keep inflation in check, won't make data-informed decisions about what interest rates should be in the short term. That can all drive up long-run inflation and interest rates in a way that the Fed won't be able to control.